Welcome back to World Information HD channel. Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating piece of American numismatic history, the 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln 1 cent, more commonly known as the Lincoln Wheat Penny. While it might seem like just another penny in your pocket, this coin hides a story, a history, and a potential fortune that could excite collectors and history lovers alike. Stay with me as we uncover everything you need to know about this remarkable piece of American currency, its history, its unique characteristics, and its incredible value. The Lincoln Wheat Penny is more than just a coin, it's an enduring symbol of American heritage. Introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln on the 100th anniversary of his birth, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, a groundbreaking moment in coin design at the time. The obverse, or front, of the coin displays a finely detailed portrait of Lincoln, designed by the renowned sculptor Victor David Brenner. His initials, VDB, can be found subtly placed at the bottom of the coin, though their placement caused quite a stir in the coin community back in 1909. The reverse side of the coin is equally iconic, featuring two stalks of wheat that gracefully arch along the edges, symbolizing prosperity and America's agricultural strength during the early 20th century. This design remained in circulation for more than 3 decades, making wheat pennies a beloved staple for collectors worldwide. The simplicity yet elegance of the design captures the spirit of the era and the optimism of a nation recovering from the Great Depression. Now, let's focus on the specific 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny. In 1940, the United States was still feeling the aftereffects of the Great Depression, and the nation was on the verge of entering a global conflict that would change history forever. Coins like the 1940 Lincoln Penny were not just currency. They were everyday pieces of history, passed from hand to hand, witnessing the nation's struggles, growth, and resilience. The absence of a mint mark on this penny indicates that it was struck in Philadelphia, the oldest mint in the United States, which historically did not use mint marks during that period. Philadelphia minted coins were the backbone of American circulation, and many of these coins were lost to time, making surviving specimens highly sought after. Collectors are often drawn to the 1940 no-mint mark penny not only for its historical significance but also for its unique characteristics. The coin is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a rich, warm color that has aged beautifully in well-preserved examples. The quality of preservation plays a massive role in the coin's value today. Coins that retain their original luster, with crisp detail in Lincoln's facial features and the wheat stalks, are considered prime specimens. Wear, scratches, and corrosion, which are common in coins that circulated heavily, can significantly reduce a coin's market value. For those new to coin collecting, understanding how coins are graded is essential. Grading is the process of determining a coin's condition and, ultimately, its value. The most widely used grading scale ranges from poor P1 to perfect uncirculated MS70. For the 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln Penny, coins graded in mint state, meaning they have never been in circulation and display their original finish, are the most valuable. Even pennies with minimal wear, known as extremely fine or about uncirculated, can fetch impressive prices from collectors looking to complete their Lincoln cent collections. Another aspect that makes the 1940 penny collectible is the potential for rare varieties or errors. Coins can sometimes be struck with small imperfections, doubling of letters, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet flaws, which make them especially interesting to collectors. While the 1940 no-mint mark penny doesn't have as many famous errors as some other dates, individual specimens occasionally appear with unique characteristics that can drive the price even higher. Serious collectors often spend years searching for these anomalies, attending coin shows, and scouring coin shops and online auctions to find a truly exceptional piece. Historical context adds another layer of allure to the 1940 penny. Imagine holding a coin that was minted at a time when Franklin D. Roosevelt was president, just months after the outbreak of World War II in Europe. The United States was still neutral, yet Americans were preparing for an uncertain future. This small coin, worth only 1 cent at the time, quietly circulated in pockets and purses, paying for small groceries, subway rides, or a cup of coffee. Over 80 years later, these coins have transformed from everyday objects into coveted artifacts of history, linking the past to the present in a tangible way. So, how does one identify a genuine 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? Collectors look for key features. Lincoln's portrait should be finely detailed, with a clear outline of his beard and hair, while the wheat stalks on the reverse should be sharply defined. The date must be perfectly legible, with no signs of alteration or tampering. The absence of a mint mark, located just above the D in 1 cent on the reverse, confirms that it was minted in Philadelphia. Authenticity is critical, as counterfeit or altered coins are unfortunately a reality in the numismatic market. Trusted dealers and professional grading services are essential resources for anyone serious about investing in coins. Now, let's talk about value. The worth of a 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat penny depends largely on condition and rarity. Coins that show little wear, with full detail and no damage, are worth considerably more than heavily circulated examples. Even pennies with moderate wear can command attention from collectors, particularly if they have attractive toning or unusual coloration. Some coins develop a rich reddish-brown hue over time, while others retain a golden copper glow, both of which are highly desirable traits. For collectors seeking the absolute best, professional grading by companies like PCGS or NGC can dramatically increase a coin's value. A high-grade 1940 no-mint mark penny, certified and encapsulated, assures buyers of its authenticity and quality. Coins that achieve high mint state grades, especially MS-65 or above, are considered premium pieces and are often the centerpiece of a Lincoln Wheat penny collection. The market for these coins is strong, fueled by both experienced numismatists and new collectors discovering the appeal of classic U.S. coins. Auctions, online marketplaces, and coin shows are common venues where 1940 pennies are bought and sold, often drawing competitive bidding due to their historical significance and scarcity in excellent condition. The enduring popularity of Lincoln pennies ensures that interest in these coins will remain high for years to come. Even if you're just starting your collection, the 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a perfect entry point. Its historical background is compelling, it's widely recognized, and it provides a tangible connection to a pivotal era in American history. Collectors often begin with more common dates to familiarize themselves with the series before venturing into rarer, high-value pieces. The 1940 penny bridges that gap beautifully, offering both affordability in circulated grades and potential investment value in higher grades. It's also worth noting that these coins can be found in surprising places. Attics, old coin jars, and inherited collections sometimes hide a 1940 penny in excellent condition. Enthusiastic collectors who take the time to inspect these coins carefully often find that what once seemed like a mundane piece of pocket change can actually be a hidden gem with significant worth. The excitement of discovering such a treasure is part of the enduring charm of coin collecting. In summary, the 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat penny is far more than a 1-cent coin. It is a piece of American history, a symbol of resilience during challenging times, and a highly collectible numismatic item. Its beautiful design, historical significance, and potential rarity make it a must-have for collectors of all levels. By understanding its history, identifying authentic specimens, and considering the coin's condition, collectors can appreciate both the story it tells and the value it holds. For anyone interested in coin collecting, the 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a remarkable example of how ordinary objects can carry extraordinary meaning. Every scratch, patina, and detail tells a story that stretches back over 80 years, connecting modern collectors to a time when the world was on the brink of dramatic change. Owning a coin like this is not just about monetary value, it's about preserving history, honoring the artistry of coin design, and experiencing the thrill of collecting something truly special. In today's video, we are stepping back into the rich numismatic history of the United States to explore a coin that may look simple and ordinary, yet it holds a story rich with value, character, and incredible potential. The 1950 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny is one of those fascinating pieces of American currency that can move from an everyday pocket change coin to an astonishing collector's treasure. If you have ever found yourself looking at an old penny and wondering whether it might be worth more than its face value, then stay tuned, because this might be the video that changes how you look at your change forever. The 1950s marked a very interesting time for the United States Mint. The nation was experiencing post-war recovery, a booming economy, and a renewed sense of hope and reconstruction. With new families forming, businesses expanding, and cities growing, coins circulated more widely than ever before. Among these circulating pieces was the familiar copper wheat penny, a small but important symbol of American history. The 1950 D penny, struck at the Denver Mint, is one of those coins that carried the nation's economic pulse in the palm of every citizen's hand. While millions were produced, only a small percentage survived in high-quality condition, and those survivors are the ones collectors today are desperately searching for. When you first look at the 1950 D wheat penny, it may appear just like any other copper coin from the mid-century era. With Abraham Lincoln's calm, dignified profile on the obverse and the classic wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent on the reverse, the design is unmistakably American. But the true magic lies in its details, its condition, and the subtle variations that elevate a common penny into a valuable treasure. Without knowing what to look for, many people unknowingly pass over coins that could be worth huge amounts of money. And that is why it is so important for collectors and beginners alike to understand exactly what makes the 1950 D penny special. Let's start with the striking process at the Denver Mint. The D Mint mark, placed just below the date, tells you instantly where the coin was produced. In 1950, the Denver Mint struck tens of millions of these wheat pennies. While this might make the coin seem abundant, the truth is that only a fraction of them remain in mint state condition today. Most were spent, worn down, tossed into jars, and slowly lost their crisp edges and clean details over time. Collectors, however, want coins that look as close to brand new as possible. These high-grade pieces are the ones that end up fetching surprising prices at auctions around the world. But grade isn't the only thing that matters. There are also small errors and unique characteristics that occurred during the minting process. These minting anomalies can dramatically raise a coin's value. A doubled die, a repunched mint mark, a misaligned strike, or an unintentional flaw in the die can turn a regular penny into a rare and valuable treasure. The 1950 D penny is known among collectors for having certain repunched mint mark varieties, where the D was stamped more than once during production. These varieties create a slightly doubled appearance on the mint mark, and collectors absolutely love them, because they represent a moment in minting history where human and machine imprecision created something extraordinary. The copper composition of these coins also adds to their value today. Unlike modern pennies, which contain mostly zinc, wheat pennies were made from 95% copper. Copper itself has an intrinsic value, but for collectors, the metal composition represents a tangible piece of the past. It is a reminder of the era before cost-cutting changes reshaped America's circulating coins. When you hold a 1950 D wheat penny, you are holding not just money, but a piece of history, a relic from a time of major cultural and economic transformation. Now let's talk about something every collector wants to know: condition. The difference between a circulated 1950 D penny and a gem-quality uncirculated example can be astronomical. Even a tiny bit of wear on Lincoln's cheek, slight smoothing on the wheat stalks, or loss of luster across the surface can reduce a coin's desirability. The highest grade coins often come from old collections, forgotten rolls, or estates where coins were carefully stored for decades. These coins, especially when certified by professional grading services, can command incredibly strong prices. Imagine holding a penny that has existed for more than 70 years, yet still looks as though it just left the press at the Denver Mint. Sharp details, golden red luster, smooth fields, and no traces of wear. These qualities are what turn a piece of pocket change into a prized gem. That is why collectors fiercely compete for the best preserved examples. A single point difference on the grading scale can mean hundreds or even thousands of dollars in value. But what truly makes the 1950 D penny exciting is that examples are still out there waiting to be found. They can appear in old jars, inherited boxes of coins, flea market finds, or rolls purchased from local banks. Many people don't realize the potential value hiding inside their collections, because to most, a penny is just a penny. Yet for those who know what to look for, these coins can be gateways to unexpected profit. Let's explore what exactly makes the finest 1950 pennies valuable. First is the original mint luster. This shimmering effect, created during the minting process, is one of the most important indicators of preservation. It's something that can never be restored once lost. Second is the sharpness of the strike. Coins with crisp details, Lincoln's hair strands, the lines in the wheat stalks, and the clarity of the inscriptions show that they were struck with fresh dies and experienced minimal handling. Third is the absence of contact marks. Because pennies are stored and transported in bulk, they often pick up scratches, nicks, and dents. The fewer marks a coin has, the more desirable it becomes. Collectors also pay close attention to the eye appeal of a coin. Some pennies have rich red coloring, others show hints of gold or orange, and some develop attractive natural toning over time. These visual qualities add character and sometimes increase value significantly. The market for wheat pennies remains strong today, partly because collectors love the history behind them and partly because the Lincoln Cent series is one of the most widely collected coin series in the world. Many beginners start with Lincoln Cents because they are affordable, familiar, and relatively easy to find. But among the millions of coins circulating, there are always outliers, rare coins, high-grade examples, and unique varieties that command attention and attract experienced buyers. A 1950 penny that stands above the rest, especially one in pristine condition, can become a centerpiece in any Lincoln Cent collection. That is why professional grading has become an essential part of the hobby. Collectors want assurance that the coin they are purchasing is authentic, properly graded, and accurately represented. Certification adds legitimacy and confidence to every sale. If you happen to own a 1950 wheat penny, your next step should be to examine it carefully. Look closely at the mint mark. Check the smoothness of Lincoln's cheek and jawline. Inspect the wheat stalks for wear. Tilt the coin under a light and watch how the luster dances across its surface. These small details could reveal a treasure hiding in plain sight. As we wrap up our deep dive into the 1950 mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny, it is clear that this coin is far more than just a piece of metal. It represents a moment in American history, a story of craftsmanship and preservation, and a chance for everyday people to discover something extraordinary. Whether you are a seasoned collector or simply curious about the value of the coins in your pocket, understanding pieces like the 1950 penny opens the door to a world where history, artistry, and opportunity meet. And now, as promised, here is the price mentioned only at the very end, in words, $33,922. In the world of American coin collecting, few coins spark curiosity like the humble Lincoln Wheat Cent. It is a coin most people overlook, a coin we've all held in our hands at some point, a coin millions toss into jars without ever realizing the hidden value it might carry. Yet among these small copper pieces lies a treasure that often goes unnoticed: the 1952 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. At first glance it seems ordinary, simple, nothing more than another outdated cent from mid-century America. But this coin carries history, character, and in some cases, surprising worth. Today we dive deep into everything you need to know about the 1952 no-mint mark wheat penny. We explore how it was made, why collectors search for it, how condition affects its value, what errors to look for, and why even a coin that once cost only a cent can now bring incredible money to the right seller. This isn't just a coin, it's a tiny copper time capsule from a country redefining itself after the war. So let's begin the journey. The year 1952 was a time of transition in the United States. The nation was moving forward after World War II and entering a period of economic growth, technological advancement, and cultural change. Television was becoming common in homes, automobiles were evolving faster than ever, and American families were adapting to a new modern lifestyle. But while the country was changing, the 1-cent coin in people's pockets held on to tradition. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, first minted in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, remained America's most familiar coin. During 1952, the Philadelphia Mint was responsible for producing the version with no mint mark, and they struck hundreds of millions of them. Most of these coins were used daily, passed from hand to hand, traded in stores, tucked into piggy banks, and forgotten in drawers. People never imagined they would one day become collectible. But today, collectors pay close attention to this date because condition, rarity in high grades, and certain small errors can dramatically affect the coin's value. The 1952 no-mint Mark Wheat penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Because copper is soft, these coins were prone to scratches, dents, and wear. That means finding one today that still looks nearly new is extremely uncommon. Most examples are worn down, darkened, or damaged. But a few rare survivors, kept safe by chance or collected early by hobbyists, still retain their original shine and details. These are the coins collectors pursue fiercely. When evaluating a 1952 penny, there are several things to look for. First is the clarity of Abraham Lincoln's portrait. On a worn coin, his cheek, hair, and jawline become faint. On a high-grade coin, every strand of hair looks sharp, every curve of his coat is visible, and the fields around him are smooth and reflective. The second important detail is the wheat stalks on the reverse. In low grades the wheat appears flat, but in high grades each line within the wheat is crisp and distinct. These small details separate a common penny from an extraordinary one. Another factor that adds value is how evenly the coin was struck. Some 1952 pennies have weak strikes because the dies used to mint them were worn. These coins appear mushy or soft, and collectors usually avoid them unless they have an error. A well-struck coin with sharp edges and strong lettering is far more desirable. A fascinating part of the 1952 penny story comes from error coins. When the mint produced millions of coins daily, mistakes were inevitable. Collectors love these errors because they are scarce, often unique, and visually interesting. Some of the most appealing errors from this year include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the blank was misaligned. There are also die cracks, where a small fracture in the die transfers a raised line onto the coin. Other errors include clipped planchets, where a small section of the coin is missing in a crescent shape, and repunched mint marks found on other locations but not common on the Philadelphia version because it has no mint mark. Even subtle errors can raise the value of a 1952 penny significantly. What makes the 1952 no-mint Mark Wheat penny most exciting is how ordinary it looks. You could find it in an old coffee can, inside a family coin jar, or tucked into a forgotten box of coins handed down from grandparents. People rarely check their wheat pennies carefully, which means treasures are still out there waiting to be discovered. Many collectors began their journey after finding a random wheat cent in pocket change. That tiny spark of curiosity can lead to a lifelong passion. The coin market today is strong and competitive. Collectors are especially interested in coins that survived in exceptional condition despite being decades old. Because so many of the 1952 pennies were used aggressively in circulation, the demand for high-grade examples is intense. In low or average condition, these pennies are not rare. Most are worth only a small amount. But once the grade goes up, even a seemingly common coin becomes scarce. A brilliant, untouched example with the original red luster earns far higher interest and bids at auctions. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC play a significant role in determining a coin's market value. Their grading standards follow a strict scale from 1 to 70. A grade of 60 or higher means the coin is uncirculated. 65 and above indicates exceptional preservation with minimal marks. A coin graded 67 or 68 is rare for the 1952 issue, and collectors know it. This is where prices climb dramatically. Collectors also consider eye appeal. Two coins with the same technical grade can look very different. One may have spots, discoloration, or uneven toning. Another may shine with full red copper brilliance. Even if both are graded the same, collectors will pay far more for the coin with superior eye appeal. Beauty matters, even in a tiny copper penny. Many people wonder how a small 1-cent coin can be worth so much. The answer lies in a combination of history, rarity in high condition, and collector demand. When millions of people chase the same few top-grade coins, prices rise. The law of supply and demand determines the final value. It's also important to remember that these pennies are now more than 70 years old. Time alone has made pristine examples hard to find, Imagine holding a 1952 penny with its full original color, a coin that looks almost exactly as it did the day it left the press. Imagine knowing that thousands of hands never touched it, that it somehow survived decades untouched by time. That level of preservation is extraordinary, and collectors are willing to pay significant amounts to own that piece of history. For those hoping to find a valuable example, the first step is to search carefully. Look through inherited coin collections, coin jars, rolls of pennies from banks, or wheat pennies purchased in bulk. Use a magnifying glass to check for sharp details, clarity of the wheat lines, and clean surfaces. Look for errors too, since even worn error coins can fetch impressive amounts. If you believe your coin is exceptional, consider sending it for professional grading. The cost of grading may be worthwhile if the coin proves to be rare. The fun of collecting comes not only from profit but from discovery. Every coin tells a story. Every piece passes through decades of American life. The 1952 no-mint mark wheat penny witnessed the early Cold War era, the Korean conflict, the Eisenhower presidency, and the beginnings of the modern American dream. To own one is to hold a slice of that era. Coin collecting remains one of the most popular hobbies worldwide because anyone can join. You don't need a fortune to begin. All you need is curiosity, patience, and a willingness to learn. And sometimes, hidden inside your own home, you may uncover a surprising treasure without ever expecting it. As we reach the end of this exploration, remember that this simple copper coin carries more than monetary value. It carries history, mystery, and the thrill of what could be. Among the many 1952 pennies, a few rare survivors have astonished collectors with their sale prices. One remarkable example sold for an incredible $44,377.